Friday, August 30th, day before a 3-day weekend. Oftentimes this affects markets, liquidation, lack of confidence for a 3-day period instead of whatever. So, this is market analysis, Stan Ehrlich, and I start out with stock market indexes and go to futures. We have a variety of futures transactions in progress, just ended or just starting to watch their development. I've been basically looking for a top in the stock market indexes. Early August was a little earlier than I'm used to in general, but August is now gone. We have a flat, basically in the E-mini, double top, minor, or just simply a resistance area that has not, including yesterday, been able to overcome and close stronger and higher than the highs of the last, say, 2 weeks. Now we see today, although we are a little tiny bit higher at the moment, a point or so for the spider up 116. We are just barely at where the market opened. Friday liquidation, 3-day weekend. I'm expecting that we're going to continue to sink for the balance of the day, close near its lows and or be making new lows. If perchance we're able to break down quickly enough, and it wouldn't be all that bad, just a few points lower on the day, we would be making lows lower than the last 2 full weeks. And that's going to set off some alarms, especially in front of a 3-day weekend. Sorry about the cough. So maybe that's going to develop today. I certainly expect something in that neighborhood to happen next week. Then I'll be a lot more convinced that we're going to be going down into the October lows. A little over 90% of the time for over 30 years, the October has represented a buying opportunity. Sometimes not that big a deal. Sometimes incredibly important. The low for years and the beginning of a bull market, which we're still in. For example, on October 13th, I believe it was, or 16th of 22. So this is expected. I'm trying to provide triggers that will likely produce the results I'm looking for. And I'm seeing some my bearish engulfings. Unfortunately, neither one of them is exactly the highest high for the move, which is what I strive for. But we got 2 of them at almost the highest highs. Real close. So I want to see, like yesterday, a lower than all the lows of the last couple of weeks, but this time stay down there. It came back up fairly nicely yesterday, and that is a little on the bothersome side if you are bearish. So again, we're higher on the day, but less than $1 at the moment on the spider, 80 cents, and you can see 50 or so on the E-mini. Next, in the last few hours, we have made slight new lows for this session and dropped below a low late yesterday's session. But the key is yesterday's low. You drop below that, and then you'll be trading in a price range we haven't seen since, what was that? August, 2 weeks ago, August 15th. So what about the spider? Of course, it's about the same thing, except that it has shorter trading hours, and we didn't get any kind of reversals. And it just looks like it's rolling over, and it has a little bit better picture of a double top formation potentially. Now I'm going to go into a little bit more commentary about that, because if this does start to close very weak today or early next week, got something in my throat, then the double top is going to look a lot more potentially viable chart formation. And we'll be going down from approximately the average of the 2 highs, and that's pretty good. And on the same vertical day as the lowest low, you start your marker right there and drop it to the lowest low right about there. This is what I call a stick. So you're measuring stick, you drop from the lowest low of the double top straight down, and you get a downside objective of, oh, I'm sorry, I drew the wrong kind of line. damn, sorry, 2, and oops, you get the point. It's quite a bit lower, double this distance, and the details. Spider 2-minute chart in this case. Nice little rally momentarily, but still not that big a deal. QQQs. We sold the high day. There's a red bearish engulfing ER sell signal on the exact high day. That's why I developed a system. It's basically a top picker and a bottom picker. And if you've been watching me for the last couple of years, you know I've hit it a lot. Nice trade, but we're out. Market showing some signs of slipping back down, currently way below where it opened. This is the QQQ. And I'm looking for more weakness. What can I say? Next, QQQ 1-minute chart, a little bounce. Again, kind of in the middle of no place. Want to see it start to make new lows for the session, then below yesterday's low, and then we have a good chance of making that new low for approximately 2 weeks. Next, NASDAQ NQ futures contract. Pretty much the same story. But look at the highs of the previous 3 days. They are almost all exactly at the same price. That one, and that one. Resistance. And they're just a little bit below a line that I drew a long time ago. So that's good. I want to see this weakness really start to kick in. I want to see stops hit, and I want to see new lows for the move down. Next is the detailed 5-minute chart. Could still happen. I'm going to the YM. Been firmer, steadier, no signals. We were long, and on other indexes also, at the time that I got this buy signal, I didn't trust it very much. I didn't think it was going to go very far for very long, and I think I said that. But the system didn't get stopped out, and great. Now, all I got to do is see the thing roll over and top out. That would also be a very, very accurate double top. Okay, I'll do it correctly in this chart. So this is the highest levels between the two highs. Click right there and go down to the lowest low at the bottom. Now this is my stick, and I'll drop it down to the low of the lowest low, and the minimum down. I already did this. Minimum downside objective is 35,500. Next chart. Detailed on the YM. Higher highs hasn't led to any follow through to the upside yet. We haven't seen that much weakness yet. And frankly, it's hanging in there fairly well, looking at the detail. But this is our previous trade. We got stopped out on that break a couple of days ago. And it's still trading a little higher than that, so we wish we were long. A little bit slower stop would have done the trick, but you don't want to go backwardation. Name of the game is to trap the profit. Buy signal down here looking good. Russell. Momentary details not that important, but hey, if it does start to drop off, you'll see a new low for a week. Next, bonds and notes. Starting to be more convincing about what I said a couple of weeks ago. This market, I think, is topping out, but not for a big move down and not for a long time. It's going to be very similar, I think, to the stock market indexes, to be honest with you. Although a little more bearish, a little more faster, a little more steeper slope, so to speak, on the indexes. I think we're going to zigzag our way down, I hope, into my real green circle here. I'm going to leave this on the screen until I'm proven right or wrong. All I got to do is get down in that circle, and I'll feel real good, and then turn around and go up, of course. It's covering the month of October and a particular support resistance price range. Let's see what happens. Notes are exactly the same story, just different levels, same larger head and shoulder bottom, which is still in force. All we would be doing is looking for, in about 6 weeks on the average, 4 to 8, is a retracement back toward the neckline, slow, and then another move way back up to the minimum upside objective, which would be at least 120. Crude. We're between a rock and a hard spot and a pennant formation. There's your bearish trend line across the tops, well established. Bull trend line across those two lows, tested a couple times, sort of. pretty well established. We'll see what we get for signals. Probably nothing soon because we're very neutral RSI. But maybe we'll get a breakout. Pennant formations are typically continuation formations. And what we were doing before the pennant formed, you got me. I don't know, sideways. So next chart, natural gas. We got a buy signal 2 days ago on Wednesday. It has made a new high since Wednesday and above yesterday's highs both. And hanging in there. Small, tiny loss on the trade at the moment. But our stop is starting to come up already, limiting the risk to smaller and smaller. Next chart. Oh, and the upside objective, this might go down as a double bottom, and then we would have picked the second low and the lowest of the two lows. And if that's correct, well, what do you got? You got to move back up to what, 2.8, looks like 2.9, probably at best 3. Next, heating oil, no such same formation, too sloppy here, but we did get a buy signal yesterday. Looks like our overnight stop has come up so quick because of a decent rally this morning that we are bumped out with a very tiny loss. That's what it looks like. And I'm not going to draw the 1 minute chart. I can see the red little dotted lines in the dailies. Overnight, tiny loss. We still have the low of the market. And if you had gone with a slower STS smart trailing stop, you could still be in the trade. But hey, then you're risking more. Next, gold, silver, platinum. This is what I wanted. I've got downside follow through in gold. We have made a tiny bit below Wednesday's bearish engulfing sell signal at the top of the market so far in gold. Narrowly escaped getting bumped out on a rally on Thursday yesterday. And here's our green trade line. The protective buy stop has not started to come down yet because the last couple of rallies have been pretty close. But I suspect that if we drop off even a little bit more, our yellow protective stop and therefore the actual would start to drop. Of course, silver. Now we're looking here like the last rally to go up to the neckline. The old neckline has happened. I thought that was it, and that looked like it, but it came all the way back. Oh yeah, we got a buy signal smack dab at the bottom also. Nothing here at the moment in terms of signals. I'm looking for this low to be tested, the support level to be broken, and the minimum downside objective to be reached in a month or two, 24 and a half. Platinum, we've got the same exact formation. Pretty unusual, very unusual. Head and shoulder top with a head and shoulder inside the head and shoulder top, which was by itself the small formation, the last shoulder on the large head and shoulder top, which we have a sell signal in the exact high in platinum. May 20th. Formation developed past tense. Breakouts occurred. Minimum downside objectives for the small formation fulfilled. The big one, we're supposed to go down to 808, 808.00 or something close to that. We're getting close to a new low for the move down. We're making a new low for the move right now, today, low and last, basically, almost. And it's a new low for over 2 weeks. I'm very pleased. Next, high grade. 2 buy signals led to a nice trade. We got stopped out on Wednesday, and we were trading below where we sold, so that's good news. But don't see it breaking down a lot. All we got is this resistance area, a stair-stepping down bear market trend in general for the last few months, couple 3. Yeah. I think the support level is going to be tested at 4.0. And if that's broken, we got another story. Yeah. Actually, that's a really good major support area. Maybe it will bounce off of it. Let's see it get there in the first place. Next, buy signal has led to a nice trade so far in soybeans. Now, I fiddled around with the kicker this morning, and I changed it on purpose. I loosened it up a little bit after the fact. We already had a trade in soybeans I was showing you yesterday, for example, that we were bumped out of on the dip low. I think it was a very small profit, may have been a very small loss, I'm not sure. But by loosening the kicker past tense, cheating, 2020 hindsight, I'm able to draw a STS trailing stop that did not get bumped out on the dip, and therefore we would still be long. And I'm going to just keep this example showing until we get bumped out of this kicker or trailing stop level, which who knows? I don't know when, but obviously we're starting to protect our profit already. Stop being around 985 and we're in around 975. Next, bean oil is rallying like I would hope it would continue to do. I could change the kicker on this and not get stopped out like soybeans. I guess I'll leave it this way. It was a small profit. That happens. As long as I keep seeing green, I like that. Next, meal. Now a minor new high for a couple of weeks. Never did make a new low, never did break out to the downside long term. And the longer term support area did hold in overbought conditions, and that was on August 13th, just only 2 weeks ago. This is a new high for a couple of weeks, and it's staying up there at the moment. Good. I think we could easily test this bear trend line, maybe a little bit more, and break the line and get up to resistance at 340, let's say 339. Next, corn. Despite the fact that we've had 3 buy signals that didn't particularly work, maybe you could have scalped out a little profit, but certainly not much. You would have been lucky. The market is showing some modest strength. We didn't even get oversold. The low of the day on the 27th is exactly the same low of the day to the tick the previous day. Therefore, we missed by 1 tick. A lower low would have been good. Having a bullish engulfing and maybe also getting oversold at the time. We were down to an RSI low of 25.16. Almost certainly it would have dropped to 25 or lower if we made a new low, but we didn't. This came so close to an official green. Too bad. And here we are rallying nicely. I really don't trust this. First stopping point is 413 on the way up and very possibly 418. On longer term, there's a couple more right in here. And of course, my resistance line from way back used to be support and crashed through it big time. Classic downside breakout. I said so on that day, I'm sure. So a little rally coming. Next, we got the bottom of the market so far to the exact day in wheat. And we have a new high and probable new high close since Tuesday, our buy signal day. I'm looking for a rally up to approximately 575, maybe a squeak higher, call it 80, 580. I can't rule out higher levels. Now, just because I got a buy signal down here does not mean I'm all of a sudden convinced that this is a long-term bottom for the next 6 months. Plus, it might be. I can't tell. My system doesn't tell me that kind of information. It only kicks in many, many times the exact high and low day of a significant swing. That might be a huge swing. What is a sweet? Yeah. So when the war started back here on, what was that? March 8th, 22, wheat had screamed higher because of the expectation of war. And on the top day, we got an ER sell signal red because it was a bearish engulfing and extreme overbought condition. Classic. One of my incredible signals I won't forget for a long time to come. If you follow that sell signal, which of course the signal doesn't have any emotion, that's why algorithms keep the people out of the trading. You are your worst enemy. So anyway, I'm friendly on wheat because of the bullish engulfing, but there's lots of trouble up ahead, just a little bit above the market. The trend is still down. We'll see what happens. Cattle. Buy signal almost on the bottom. Worked very well for a couple of days, made some money, got stopped out on yesterday's break, and we're going up a little bit more today. So I wish I was long and got out near the low of yesterday, making it even a little more painful in retrospect. Hey, c'est la vie. Green. Next. Hogs. Should be topping out. Not seeing what I want to see here. Overbought conditions are now for the 6th day in a row. Almost every day we've got a new high, today included. I don't have a very accurate price level, maybe 84 and a quarter, 84 and a third. looks pretty interesting, especially if it just gets there in the next couple, 3, 4 trading days. And we're back to the E-mini. What's going on? Not much. Just a little bit of a sideways movement in here. I'll expand so you can see the details. Actually looks like it's trying to make a minor bottom, but I hope not. You guys have a great trading day and profitable trading to you. Have a great 3-day weekend.